Okay guys, welcome to another video of mine. You can see the title. I'm going to be taking a look at the Vectrex computer game system. Now, one of the most sort of popular questions I get asked in sort of Friday Waffles is, what is your favourite system? And I always say the Vectrex. Yeah, it struck me just a couple of days ago that considering how much I absolutely love the Vectrex, I don't have many videos about it. Now, I'm probably going to demonstrate why that is the case, and it's because it is ridiculously hard to actually film and not look shite, you know, which I'm going to obviously be letting you see this thing in action shortly. So yeah, the Vectrex, I was going to say Sony Vectrex. The Vectrex was released by, I think it was, is it MB? Yeah, there we go, MB. This is obviously the UK one. I'm not sure who released it in the States. I'm extremely fortunate I've actually got two of these things because obviously they're old systems, and you know, I don't think if one of them was to stop working, I don't think I would have the, well, in fact I know for a fact I would not have the knowledge to fix the thing. So I managed to get a second one for a really good price. They do go for, they do go for daft money, unfortunately, like a lot of sort of classic systems now, which is a bit rubbish, you know, but anyway, I thought what I would do is just give you an oversight of the system. We'll take a look at the box, we'll take a look at the unit itself, take a look at some of the games, the boxes, the overlays, etc. Then I'll actually let you see the games getting played. I will actually say before I really get going is there are way better videos looking at the Vectrex than mine's. Vectrex Rolly is he is the guy to go to when it comes to Vectrex stuff. What I'll do is I'll put a link to Rolly's site down below. So yeah, the Vectrex computer game system, the only video system that brings real arcade play home. Now I do remember seeing this, and it was Woolworths back, will it be 1982? I think it was 1983 possibly, and I didn't really know what to make of it. It was a kind of odd thing, you know. Other systems like the Atari, etc., they plugged into the TV. This thing had its own inbuilt TV. It just seemed really strange. But yeah, nice box. The box is obviously a bit battered, a bit like myself. Spinning it around. Yeah, there we go. Vectrex has a wide variety of challenging and exciting game cassettes. It's interesting to call them cassettes rather than cartridges. The fast expanding Vectrex game library. Now sadly, I think, was there 23, 24 official games? I can't even tell you what these are. As well as brand new games that are sure to become greats in their own right, and more to come. Yep, and spinning the box round further. Yeah, that's exactly what it was on the other side. And again, it's exactly what was on the back. In fact, it actually tells you, there you go, it actually shows you. One game that was never released, which is interesting, is Centipede. Wonder why that was. Probably just because it had such a short shelf life. So, anyway, let's take this bad boy out and actually have a look at the thing. Again, I do apologise about the absolutely crap camera work. I'm obviously having to use, having to hold the phone whilst kind of looking at the thing. And again, apologies about the quite poor light, but hopefully you can see the thing well enough. So, yeah, if you've never seen a Vectrex before, there it is there. It's not very good because I've got a little shadow. Don't know what size it is. No idea. I don't know, it's a foot high, something like that. I don't really know. I've not got this one plugged in at the moment. Like I said, you will get to see the games. But it's, yeah, underneath, again, you can't even see that, that's annoying. Underneath, you've got where the joystick plugs in. There's actually, you can have two people playing it. Now, one of the features, it is a feature of the Vectrex, is you get a humming sound when you switch it on. Now, that was just something that, it was a feature, it was part of what makes a Vectrex a Vectrex. Now, I have, you might be able to see, I actually put some sellotape across it, which kind of helps to dampen the sound a wee bit. Some purists might be shouting at me for doing that, but you know what, I just think it helps it slightly. You do still get the humming sound, but that does kind of help sort of dampen it slightly. So underneath there, like I say, you can't really see it. You've got a space for 2 joysticks, and you've got a reset button, and you've also got the on and off knob, which also doubles as the, what do you call it, as the volume control. On the top there you'll see Vectrex. You spin it around, you've got the cartridge port at the side. Now these are heavy buggers, by the way, and spinning it all the way around, excuse me, I need to get that stuck back up. Excuse me. There we go. Right, Vectrex, model number 3000 UK, serial number 2021123. Does that mean it's extremely rare? Who knows? On the side here, you've got a brightness button, a brightness knob, which you turn. Now, I do know, I've heard that you need to be very, very, very careful with, if you're ever going to try and repair one of these, because at the end of the day, it's a CRT. Well, it's not a CRT, it's a vector display, but it does hold a considerable charge, and even if this thing has been not switched on for a long time, you could end up killing yourself. So never ever open up one of these things unless you know what you're doing. That's why I would never attempt to repair it, hence the reason I have to. So that's the unit itself. There's not an awful lot to it. The actual controller, now this is, the Vectrex is quite unique for a number of reasons. The first one is it has its own inbuilt screen, which back in 1982 was just something that never really, it wasn't something that was done. I'm going to stand back a wee bit like so, you can see it. Yeah, it's got its own inbuilt screen. The second thing, the control stick is actually analog. Yep, it's, you know, analog wasn't really something that existed back then. So, you know, you've got precise movement, which you do need for the games. And thirdly, the actual display itself is Vector Graphics. I don't know, is that the official name for them? I don't know, but it's, if you've never seen, if you don't know what Vector Graphics are, think of Battlezone, think of Tempest, think of any of the early sort of Atari games, Asteroids, etc. It's little wire lines, just little straight lines. But what really makes Vector Graphics beautiful is the glow, and you'll hopefully see that when I actually let you see some of the games. The glow, you get sort of like a pulsating light coming off them. They're really beautiful, and it basically means that this system has not really dated at all. You know, it might be, I don't know how many years old, 40-year-old, and yeah, it's still, the games still look as fresh as anything. It's a beautiful machine. So that is the machine. Let's take a look at some of the games. I'll show you the game boxes. Now, I think I'm actually very fortunate. I got into collecting for the Vectrex, you know, about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Now, games and the consoles just go for absolutely daft money. So, fortunately, I got a lot of my games for pretty good prices. So anyway, I don't have them all. I don't know how many games I've got. This is Starhawk. There's not actually any, there's not any screenshots on it at all. In fact, no, the screenshot's on the front, although it obviously doesn't look like that. Now inside, what you'll get, let's just empty it out like so. In fact, jump cut. Right, because the actual screen of the Vectrex, which is there, it's basically black and white graphics. What they did was they came up with a very clever sort of way of getting colour into games, and it was using a little overlay, a little plastic overlay. It's basically the same idea which you used on Space Invaders. Was it Space Invaders, the second game? I think it was. So you basically overlay that across the screen, and it kind of gives you some colour. So with each game, you got one of these. Now, even in eBay, these alone go for daft money. It's just absolutely insane. So you get the overlay, you get the little cartridge, like so, or cassette as they call it, I think. And you get the instruction manual. And that is basically it. And next game I've got is Hyper Chase. I'll just put them in front here. Next one is Bedlam. Now you can see here, there we go, this was reduced, this was bought, I mean I didn't buy it from Woolworths, I bought it on eBay. This was reduced to £9.95, and then it was further reduced to £2.95. Now this will go for 50 quid. You know, but back then nobody was interested in it. Then there was Berserk, cracking game. I'll hopefully let you see that one later on. Another really good conversion is Scramble. Then we've got Starship. Then we've got Solar Quest. Let me start backing up a wee bit, I'm getting too many games. Then we've got Web War. Now, some of these games were based on other sort of arcade games, which you'll probably see for yourself. Then Fortress of Narzod, that's actually quite a good little shooter. Then an interesting one is Blitz, which is actually an American football game. And it was released in the UK, obviously. And there's another one. Can you imagine getting that deal then? Rip-off. Not quite rip-off. Again, it was reduced to £9.95. Then it was further reduced to £2.95. Imagine getting a Vectrex game for £3. Then we've got Space Wars. That's actually in really good condition. I'll move them over there. You can sit over there, son. Then we've got Flipper Pinball. A nice big coffee stain in it. Then the last two original games, I've got Armour Attack. That's a lovely, lovely conversion. And finally is Clean Sweep. Yeah. Now, if you think that the sort of 8-bit machines have got a really flourishing homebrew scene, you ain't seen anything until you've witnessed the Vectrex homebrew community. There is such a massive following for the Vectrex even now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you see some games which have literally come out in the last couple of years. Right, some of the homebrew games. Thrust, yep, it's that game, and what a game it is. It's a stonking version. As you can imagine, Thrust was basically, it was designed to look like a vector game. So having this running on an actual Vectrex, you know it's going to be something special, and trust me, it is. It's an amazing game, really, really nice. So yeah, there's that. Then one of the guys, John Donzilla, he was a very, very prolific programmer for the Vectrex, you know, a few years ago. I don't know if he makes any games anymore. I've no idea if he's still doing stuff, but yeah, this was like any compilation, the world's first 64K Vectrex game cartridge. You can see there a number of games, and if you turn around the back, you'll see some of the screenshots of some of the games. Brilliant. Then another John Donzilla game I've got is Gravitrex Plus, which I think it's like a mega game. There's lots of different levels to it. You can see there it's like a kind of shooter and sort of maze game as well. Apologies about the light, by the way. I've always struggled to kind of get a decent, that's why I'm kind of angling the game around so you don't get too much reflection. Yeah, lovely. And then one of probably my favourite Vectrex game, well maybe not now, there is one game I'm going to show you which probably just pips this, but this is an absolute stonking game, and it's not that one, it's Protector by Alex Kelly, Alex Herbert even. Yeah, this is essentially Defender, you can probably see there, it's Defender, and wow, you know, you would not believe how good a version this is. It's an absolute astonishing version. It plays so well using the actual control pan as well. Now, I did actually own one of the original Protector cartridges, which came out about 10 years ago. And unfortunately, I decided to sell it because I was needing the money. I got, I think, £200 for it. You could probably sell it for 4 times that now. Not that I'm condoning, you know, buying stuff to sell for profit, but that at the end of the day I needed the money and I sold it, but I would love to have kept it. But anyway, I can still play it because this wonderful cartridge has actually got 2 games. It's got Protector, and the game I showed you a second ago is yet another Space Invaders, which if you think that's just like a screenshot of the arcade, well, you'd be wrong. That is actually what it looks like, and what I'll do is I'll let you see it. So yeah, you've got these. So these are basically games that came out maybe about 5, 6, maybe a bit more years ago, but there's so many new games getting released even now, and one of the most prolific guys to release games is a guy who goes by the name of, I can't even remember his name, which is absolutely terrible. Anyway, I'll remember his name once we actually open the box, but this is Vector Pilot, and it's basically Time Pilot for the Vectrex. And you can see there, it's got a lovely big box. Really, really nice. Now, this is a homebrew, basically. A homebrew game. You open it up. It looks awesome. You've got the cartridge there. And you've got a really, really nice instruction manual, which I'll take out and let you see. I think, there you go. So, there it is. The guy's name is, his nickname on the interweb is I can't even say it, Tutstronics. Now, I've got cartridge number 323. So you can see there, they are limited. They are hard to get hold of. But it's really professionally done. Got all the instructions inside. Some nice screenshots in that as well. So it's beautifully put together. And like I says, the homebrew scene in the Vectrex is just phenomenal. I've never known an old machine to get the backing or support quite like the Vectrex gets. Absolutely amazing. Now that's not all, as well as the actual game and the, you know, the instructions, etc. inside. I'm not going to try and not break it. The guy has also gone to the length of producing an overlay, which is just beautiful. I'm trying to get away from get the light out there. Yeah, you can see it. If you place that over it, it gives you an idea of just how colourful it's going to look like. Absolutely beautiful. Now I think I have got a second one. I have indeed. I've got a red one and a black, the blue one. It just gives a slightly different look to it, which is really, really nice. So yeah, that is Vector Pilot. Now in addition to that one, he also brought out last year Vectrexians. I'm saying last year, I bought it last year, which is basically Galaxian. Again, I'm not going to let you see inside, but it's the same beautiful presentation. Just awesome, it really is. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like buying games for the sake of it. I'm all about just getting to play them. But owning these bad boys, they just look beautiful, especially when you've got them all sort of stacked up on the shelf like this. They just look awesome, they really do. And the last one I've got by Christoph, that's his first name, I can't remember his second name, is Vector Patrol. This is his most recent one, and it is basically his take on Moon Patrol. And again, I'll let you see it, but look at the box, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at the screenshots in that. Yeah, absolutely astonishing. One thing I didn't let you see is the instruction manual for the Vectrex, because I've got it here. Vectrex computer game system. Setting up, and basically all you're going to do is plug it and switch it on. Plug it in and switch it on, I would imagine. I imagine you'd probably get good money even for this as well. Honestly, anything to do with Vectrex, and it just goes for absolutely insane money, which is crazy. Yeah, and the last thing I'm going to let you see is the Vec Multi. Now basically what this is, it's a flashcard, which means, pardon me, you can, you'll see there's a little SD slot. You can basically download ROMs and pop them on an SD card and then run them all from that, and it's got a nice little kind of built-in menu. Now obviously there are a lot of games which are actually you've got to buy, which is absolutely fine, because at the end of the day you want to support these guys to continue making stuff. But there's a lot of like all the original Vectrex games, they're all completely free. I think they are now in the public domain, so you can grab them and you'll end up with like 24 games, you know, you can put on that right away. And there are other games which are completely free to use as well. Right, the games themselves, let's take a wee look. I'll try and keep my talking to a minimum to let you actually enjoy the sound. This one is Mindstorm. This was the game that was built into the system. Now, apparently there is a bug in level 13, I think it is, whereby you cannot physically get past that level. I've never even got close to that, so it's not an issue. Apparently when they found out there was a bug, they actually contacted people and they said, if you bring back your receipt, we will give you a new copy, we'll give you a standalone copy of a bug-free version of Mindstorm. Now these do go for silly money, because as you can imagine, probably most people didn't even bother to do that. But it's kind of like Asteroids, similar gameplay, does play really well. as I said, it was difficult to try and get a good picture. I did spend ages trying to get this. The problem you've got is because it's Vectrex, because it's vector graphics, they're so glowy, and the camera or my phone, which I was using for this, it kept kind of going blurry. So this is about the best that you're going to get from me, unfortunately. You'll see there just how super smooth it is when your wee ship's turning. It's absolutely smooth as anything. That's the lovely thing about vector graphics, and that's why this system has aged so well. So that is Mindstorm. Next up is Armour Attack. Again, this was an arcade game, and again, it was a vector-based arcade game. You basically play the part of I think you're a little, sort of, what do you call it? A little Land Rover thing with a gun in the front of it. You're not a tank, I don't think. You've got helicopters that are obviously trying to take you down as well, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Never ever seen this in arcades, but it was an arcade game. As you can imagine, most of the games with Vectrex were pretty simplistic affairs for a couple of reasons. The graphics, obviously, you couldn't really have, you know, it had to be simplistic graphics, and secondly, the amount of memory in the machine itself. So that was Armour Attack. This one is Berserk, which is a favourite of mine's. It's a really, really nice version, and it's a big but, it's very, very slow, especially when there's quite a bit on screen, as you'll soon see. It does start to slow down quite a lot. But it actually plays really well. Yeah, unfortunately the slow movement does make it quite difficult to dodge bullets. So whilst it is a nice version, it's not a version you'd really want to play that much, just because it does lack a bit of speed, which is a shame. Because everything else about it, it plays well, it looks good as well. And next one up is Clean Sweep, which is, it's basically a Pac-Man clone, as you can see there. Now, I'm not aware of there being a version of Pac-Man out of the Vectrex. I would be very, very surprised if somebody hadn't actually written a clone of Pac-Man. If you know about one, please put your comments down below. I'd love to see. I mean, this it's a perfect game for this system, because it's really all straight lines, and other than the little character, you could quite easily have Pac-Man there. Nice little version. I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to be actually. Yeah, that's Clean Sweep. Next one is Fortress of Narzod. Now this game did actually get a release on the Commodore 64, would you believe? And it's actually quite a good version. What they've actually done is they've tried to recreate the vector graphics of the Vectrex one. I'm doing absolutely hopeless here. see there the speed of that game. The Vectrex wasn't really designed for pushing a lot of graphics about it at one time, you know. It was fine when it was like minimalistic graphics like this, but when you get something like, you know, I don't know, a game that's pushing a lot of graphics, then it does start to swap a wee bit. So next one, we've got pole position. Now this is actually a really, really good version of pole position. I'd actually almost go as far as to say it's possibly one of the best home conversions you're ever likely to play. Apologies for my complete lack of being able to play the game. I was struggling to find second gear. There we go. Yeah, look at that. How beautiful is that? It might be wire graphics, but it just looks absolutely awesome. I don't know what was going on with that game. There was a lot of like reflection. See at the side of the screen. Don't know why that was. That wasn't on the Vectrex itself. I've got to say, guys, that you're not getting the full experience of seeing this when you're watching it on a video. You've really got to see it with your own eyes to really appreciate just what a great game it is, or not so much what a great game, what a great system the Vectrex is. So that is the mighty pole position. Right, next one is Protector. Now, I mentioned this game earlier on. This is an absolute stonking version of Defender. I'm absolutely pants at it, as you'll soon see. You'll see at the top there, you've got the little radar, and at the bottom you've got the little mountain range. I didn't have the brightness turned up too much for this game, but again, it does look a lot better on the actual system. But you'll see the speed at which the game plays. I was going on about how it's not really capable of pushing graphics about quickly. Well, this game kind of proves that to be a lot of nonsense. I mean, look at the laser. How beautiful is that? Even the sound effects. I would probably say that Protector's it's one of the most impressive games you're ever going to see on the Vectrex, because Defender is such a fast, action-paced game, and to see a game like this run so well on such a limited system as the Vectrex is just astonishing. And next game is Scramble. You know the game. Again, this is an absolutely beautiful version of the game. So playable. And notice the fluidity of the graphics. Everything moves so smoothly. And that's why, when you know, this system has not dated at all. It still looks as good as it did back in 1982. And next game is Star Castle. Not one I'm really familiar with. I do have the original, but I've never really played it. I'm not actually sure what I need to do here. Do I need to shoot that thing? I'm assuming. Right, okay. as I said earlier, you know, most of the games are very simplistic, but then arcade games back in the day were simplistic. You know, it was all about the playability. Really, really nice game. So that is Star Castle. And the next one we're going to take a look at is Thrust. I did show you the box of that earlier on. Now this is basically it's a remake of the C64 classic. I think it also came out in the BBC as well, didn't it? And the Spectrum actually. It might have even came out in Amstrad as well, I'm not too sure, but you know, it was a game that was written in the style of a vector game, although it was running on you know, home computers which couldn't do vectors. So it's nice to see this game finally on a vector based system. Look at some of the wee kind of special effects when you're kind of picking up the fuel there. It's just absolutely beautiful. My game skills are seriously lacking. Yeah, that was Thrust. Next one up. This is I think this is a demo. This is what is this? Vectrex, which I'm assuming is going to be some sort of beat 'em up, which I can't even imagine how it's going to play. I've seen it all now, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I think this is a beta. I don't think this is a finished version. But honestly, I cannot tell you just how much there is still a scene revolving around the Vectrex. You know, there are so many people still making games for the system, and they're just constantly pushing the system further and further and further. I mean, look at this. This is yet another Space Invaders, it's called. You know, again, this video is not doing this game justice. To see this running is just absolutely extraordinary. You would think you were looking at a you know, an arcade Space Invaders. It's just beautiful. How they've managed to get games like that running on this system is beyond me. And next one, this is one of the sort of more recent games. This is, yeah, Tutstronics. I can't even pronounce his name. It's Christoph Tutz, his name is. Apologies, Chris, for forgetting your name. I'm absolutely terrible with names, I really am. Listen to the sound. Now you can see there, I've got the overlay in, you can see the colour. Now normally you wouldn't, I mean I can see how much the graphics are sort of glowing there. It wouldn't normally look like that. It doesn't look like that on the actual machine itself. Nope, trying to figure out how to actually, how do we fire? I am terrible at this game. I'm not terrible, I've just not played it for such a long time, but... There we go. Finally get there. I mean, listen to the sound as well. The sound is just awesome. That is Vectrex. Next up is Vector Pilot. This one is an absolute beauty. Now that colour you can see in the background, that is the overlay coming through. Again, you're getting a slightly distorted look. Listen to that sound. Yeah, you're getting a distorted look at the screen there. You've got all the colour kind of merging through. It doesn't look like that when you're actually playing it, but it does look absolutely awesome. So yeah, you've seen the game before. This is basically Time Pilot, and it handles perfectly. Yeah, these kind of blue bits you're seeing flashing, you're not getting them on the actual system. That's just down to my poor camera skills, unfortunately. I never have managed to figure out how to actually record a Vectrex, and that's the reason I've never actually done a Vectrex video before. Well, I've done a couple in the past, but never one this concise. And I think this one plus Vectrex plus the next one I'm going to show you after this, I believe they all save your high scores to the actual cartridge as well, which is really nice. And the last one I'm going to let you see, guys, is Vector Patrol. Again, this is by Christoph Tutz. And this is based on Moon Patrol. Now this is only the second time I've ever played this game, so apologies now about how pants I'm going to be. You see there the colours, again that's the little overlay, and it just makes the game so vibrant looking. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I would absolutely love to see a really good Asteroids and also a good version of Tempest. I'm sure it's possible. When you see what these guys are doing with this machine now, I'm quite sure it's only a matter of time before we do see, you know, perfect versions of these games. So yeah, that is basically it. That is my look at the Vectrex. What can I say about it? I mean, it's an absolutely awesome system. It really is. The sad thing about it is the price. You know, because there's obviously there was quite a limited number made, and for that reason they do go for silly money. I'm guessing they're also fairly, well, given the fact that they're 40 years old, chances are they're going to be quite, you know, they could stop working at any point basically. So, but then that's the same with any hardware. But it's such a quirky little machine. It's like nothing else that's ever been made before. You know, it's the only home machine that's got vector graphics. And for that reason, it's something. If you ever got the opportunity to own one for not a lot of money, or even if you wanted to really treat yourself, I mean, I would say, is it worth £200? I would say it's worth £200 if you're getting a few games with it, but don't worry too much about the games. You know, unless you really want to collect them, then it's going to get expensive. But like I say, grab yourself one of the little Vectrex multi-cartridge things, and you can basically get most of the games for completely free. But I love my Vectrex to bits. I don't use it as often as I should, for a stupid reason, is I don't want to break it, which is daft. There's no point in me owning it if I'm not going to use it. But it's an absolutely stonking machine, and what I would say to anybody out there that's any potential company that's thinking about making a mini system, think on and make yourself a Vectrex Mini. Can you imagine the demand that this thing would get if you ever brought it out? I don't know whether it's ever going to be feasible. Chances are it's going to cost a lot of money to do it, and you know, for that reason we'll probably never ever see a new Vectrex getting made. So I think the only chance you've really got of playing one is to actually buy one. Unfortunately, emulation does not do this system justice at all. As you know, my video doesn't do it justice at all. You've really got to see this thing in the flesh to appreciate just how beautiful a machine it is. You know. So anyway, guys, listen, that is the Vectrex, and as always, thank you very much for watching.